Siebert is making his 11th start of the year and his second against Washington. He's 4-3, and like Tiant was last night and Bell was before his last start, looking for that elusive number 5 victory. Ball one is outside and low. King has been kicking up a little fuss lately, has his batting average up to 277, 4 home runs and 5 doubles. Left-hand batter swings and pops one foul, first base side. Whitfield giving it a chase, but the wind has it and takes it back into the crowd. So the count will be ball 1 and strike 1. Guys, you know that a total of 37 former baseball greats have already signified that they are going to be here for Sunday's Old Timers game. Bobby Avila, Vic Wirtz, Larry Doby, and Johnny Pesky are the latest to accept invitations. Here's the pitch. Foul tip in the dirt, off his foot. The count is ball 1 and strike 2. 3 other former favorites accepted just a few hours earlier. Joe Smoke Gordon, Bob Lemon, and Eddie Yost, the guy that's coaching down at third. Naturally, he's got to be here. The Old Timers will play their game at 1:30 Sunday afternoon with the regular Cleveland-Washington game following. Avila, last Indian to win the American League Batting Championship, is coming up from Mexico, where he is president and field manager of the Puebla Club. Ground ball hit to the right side of the infield. Long hop taken by Hauser. Throw to first, and King is out. Side retired. That one on a 4-3 play. 3 up and 3 down, nothing across. The Indians coming to bat in the last half of the first inning. The score, Washington nothing, Cleveland nothing. You know, talking about the old-timer game Sunday and the fact that Avila, Wirtz, and Doby have accepted invitations, interesting to note that all 3 of these men were honored as Cleveland Baseball Writers Men of the Year. Doby in 50, Avila in 54, Wirtz in 1956. Doby was the first Negro to play in the American League. He broke in with the Indians in 1947. And what a year he had in 1952 and in 1954. They'll all be here. Vic Wirtz led the tribe in home runs and runs batted in. 2 years, 56 and 57. But a host of others. Here we go in the Indians' half of the first inning. Phil Ortega, the right-hander, delivers. Pitch is swung on. A drive. Fly ball to right field. Not too far for King. He's back under it, and he makes the catch. Looked good when it left the bat, but it didn't carry. Routine fly ball, it turned out. Phil Ortega and Pete Rickard give the Senators 2 fine pitchers and a good lefty-righty combination. In fact, they hold the part of a rather remarkable record. In the history of the American League, there have been only 4 instances where pitchers have struck out 7 consecutive batters. Ortega is one of them, Rickard is another. They both pitch for the same club. Ortega fires a strike down to Chico Simone, now batting. Chico batting .242. And trying to get out of the way of that inside pitch, it fouls off the bat. Count is 2 strikes. Rickard whiffed 7 Detroit Tigers on the 24th of April, and Ortega followed May 29th when he struck out 7 consecutive Red Sox. And now it is 2 strikes. We get the sign from the umpire. The pitch outside. A Washington mathematician figured out the odds against this business of 2 pitchers striking out 7 men in a row, 2 pitchers on the same club. You know what the odds against it were? 25,000 to 1. The pitch is swung on, popped up into shallow center, right back of second. The wind will hold it up. The shortstop Brinkman is under it, and he has it for out number 2. Leon Wagner's at bat. First pitch swinging, a high pop foul off to the left, and the wind carries it out of play. Casanova gave it a try, but this wind is still quite strong here off the lake. You know, you got to believe it's pretty tough to strike out 7 batters in a row. Sometimes it's tough to strike out 7 batters, period. Ortega's pitch. Ball 1 outside. Ball 1 and strike 1. Phil Ortega, the tall right-hander. Delivers a strike. Fastball let her high to the outside corner. Wags is in a slump so badly. He says, I'm swinging when I should be taking, and I'm taking when I should be swinging. The old story. You're looking for the right zigzag, and you can't get them together. 1-2 pitch. Swung on, and there goes a long drive toward right field. He didn't zig on that one. He zagged, baby. That's a foul. It's gone for a home run. Wagner has just hit a home run, and it's a happy one for the big guy. He has really been suffering in the throes of a slump that had seen his batting average down to .259. This is number 6, his 6th home run. The batter now is Max Alvis, right-hand hitting third baseman. He bunts to the third base side, coming in fast. The first baseman, a one-handed pickup, not in time with a throw. Base hit for Max Alvis. He caught Bob Savarine sitting back on his heels. Playing in a deep position is another way of saying it. And Max laid down a bunt, beat it out for a base hit. You catch that third baseman back there. It's a beautiful spot. It also opens the way for another guy who swings from the left side, Fred Whitfield. Batting .243. Swing and a foul back to the screen. The Indians lead 1-0. Wagner is now tied with Whitfield with 6 home runs apiece. Alvis still leads the club in hits with 47. That was his 47th. Runner on. The pitch is too low. Ball 1. Would you believe it? Fred Whitfield took a pitch. I mean, it was over the plate, but it was a little low. Wingy likes to swing at all of them. Whitfield leads the club in runs batted in, a total of 26. He's way ahead in that department. 10 ahead of Calaveto and Alvis. Throw to first by Ortega. Ortega has won 5 and lost 2. The pitch is a changeup, ball too high and outside. Ball 2 and strike 1. The pitch is fouled back into the upper stands. Be alive up there. Whoops. People falling. Ball 2 and strike 2. Ortega's full name is Filomeno Coronado. He's 6'4". Born in Gilbert, Arizona. Ortega, you know, was signed originally by the Dodgers. They landed him for a $70,000 bonus. The pitch, swing and a miss. He struck him out. Fred Whitfield goes down swinging. Side is retired. The Indians get a run on 2 hits. 1 left. End of 1. It is Cleveland 1, Washington nothing. Now we move into the first half of the second inning. Frank Howard will be leading off for Washington. Happy to hear the good word from Sergeant W.D. Morris, State Highway Patrol, Columbus, Ohio. Enjoying the ball game. A lot of teachers here tonight, and we're mighty happy to have them with us. The batter up is Frank Howard, standing in, the jolly, gentle giant. Right-hand batter, average .269. He takes the strike. Curveball hitting the outside corner. It was interesting reading the bit about Mickey Mantle's comments on Gary Bell and Bell's terrific slider. which he was throwing the other night. Bell had it working perfectly. Fouled in the dirt. 2 strikes. Bell was making his slider hit the spots that he wanted to hit with it. That's terrific. There is ball 1 outside. One and 2 count. Wind up on the 1 and 2. Pitch, a swing, and he misses. Struck him out. So he got the big one. Howard has hit 7 home runs this year. Sure good to see Dale Mitchell and his son Dudley here at tonight's ball game. Of course, he's here for the old-timers game. The batter is Dick Nin, first baseman, left-hand batter, average .212. He looks at a strike. Boy, he let a beauty go by right down the middle. Joe Gordon and Bob Lemon have been added to the list of old-timers. Stars of the past who will be here. Pitch is swung on by Nin. A ground ball to the second baseman. There's Dick Hauser. He has it. The throw to first, and Nin is out on a 4-3 play. Sonny is making his 11th start and his second against Washington. He faced them and lost on May 18th by a score of 4-3. He also appeared against them in the presidential opener, remember? But that was a 1-inning relief stint. McDowell won that ball game. The batter is Don Locke. There's a strike. The slider worked the outside corner. Locke was inserted in the lineup when Fred Valentine, wrenched his wrist in batting practice and had to leave the lineup. Savarine was moved up to the number 2 spot. There's a high pop-up off Locke's bat. Max Alvis is moving in back of the mound, and he makes the catch. The side is retired. 3 up and 3 down, nothing across at the end of 1.5. It's Cleveland 1, Washington nothing. Now we move into the last half of the second inning. Coming to bat is Rocky Calaveto. Well, the summer's starting for a lot of youngsters and a lot of athletes around the countryside, but for the son of one of our fine policemen, whom we see around the ballpark almost daily, Gregory Olowski, undergoing an operation. Calaveto at bat, swings and hits a ground ball to the third baseman. Savarine has it, throws to first in time. You know, this is an anniversary, sort of, for Rocky Calaveto. It was 7 years ago on this date, June 10th, 1959, June 10th, in Baltimore. Rocky Calaveto hit 4 home runs. Remember that historic game? Brilliant night in Baltimore. But Rocky's having his troubles with that bat right now. Here's Dick Hauser playing at second base in tonight's ball game. Phil Ortega, after victory number 6, delivers a strike. This kid who came along to Washington in that big trade involving Claude Osteen is another of the bonus bits of that trade that Washington is mighty proud of. That's got to be one of the great trades of all time. That's a ground ball to the shortstop. Brinkman has it. The throw to first, and Hauser is out on a 6-3 play. The Indians lead 1-0 on Leon Wagner's home run. You figure that when the Dodgers give $70,000 for a pitcher, they figure he's got something. But the Dodgers sent Howard, Rickett, Ken McMullen, Dick Nin, along with Ortega, for an infielder named John Kennedy and a pitcher, Claude Osteen. That was in 1964. 2 out. Askew at bat. Swings on the first one. It's a high pop-up into shallow right. Going out, the second baseman, Blasingame, wants it, and he has it. Boy, that was a quick inning. 3 Indians up and 3 Indians down. No runs, no hits. At the end of 2, the score is Cleveland 1 and Washington nothing. Now we move into the first half of the third inning with the Indians leading by a score of 1-0. And here to take us along is Bob Neal. Bob, come in.
Thank you, Jimmy, and hello again, everybody. As we move now to the top of the third, the Indians holding a 1-0 lead. The Indians and the Washington Senators will be here again tomorrow night. Game time tomorrow will be 6 o'clock. First man to face Sonny Siebert in the top of the third will be Paul Casanova, the catcher. The last time Washington was here, he rolled into the city of Cleveland with a batting average around .433. And by the time he had left, the Indians had cooled him off to down about .344. But he still represents the long ball threat, although not with as much consistency as he broke in. Paul Casanova, tall, slender young catcher who originally belonged in the Indian organization. Standing in, right-hand batter. Sonny Siebert with a 1-0 lead. Works now on the first pitch. Strike on the outside corner. Casanova currently batting .240. Has 3 home runs, 1 triple, and 5 doubles. Got 11 RBIs. And he moves around back of that plate. Siebert's 1-strike pitch. There's a solid one-hopper to Chico Simone. Throws across the whip field, and he got him. Boy, that ball was socked. 1 out in the third. We just got news of a big trade made between the New York Yankees and the Kansas City A's. The Yankees have given up Gil Blanco, a young left-handed giant, 6'5", 217 pounds. Bill Stafford, whom they just recalled from Toledo, and Roger Repose, a fleet-footed outfielder, for Fred Talbot, a right-hander, and Bill Bryan, the left-handed batting catcher. There's a fastball strike to Eddie Brinkman. Well, the Yankees are picking up a good right-hander, giving up Bill Stafford, who did some pretty good work for Toledo, and a young man with potential. Curveball in there for strike 2. One to nothing, that's the score, as Eddie Brinkman stands in facing Sonny Siebert with 1 out here in the third. 2 strikes now as Sonny Siebert checks once again with Joe Askew. Joe wearing his new helmet-type hat. Now the 0-2 pitch. And it's a little outside. It's 1 ball and 2 strikes. Joe Pignatano pacing up and down at first base. Eddie Yost at third. Now the 1-2 delivery is swing and a miss, and it's strike 3 as Siebert threw the fastball right by him. 2 strikeouts now for Sonny Siebert. And let's pause. 10 seconds for station identification. This is the Cleveland Indians Baseball Network. Now the pitch coming to Ortega. Fastball by Sonny Siebert over the inside corner for strike 1. Sonny really humming that ball in there. The outfield split a little. Davalillo's in right center. Calabedo shallow in right. Backed up in left is Wagner. Next pitch right in there for strike 2. There's a report, not confirmed yet, that the San Francisco Giants have sent pitcher Bob Shaw to the New York Mets. Here's the 0-2. There's a foul away, and it's no balls, 2 strikes. The Indians leading 1-0 on Wag's home run into the right field seats. Breeze blowing across. Now the pitch. He swings on a curveball and he misses. Strike 3. So Sonny Siebert has retired 9 of the Washington Senators in order. Picks up his 3rd strikeout. And in the middle of the 3rd inning, it's Cleveland 1, Washington nothing. Now we go to the bottom of the 3rd inning. The Indians leading 1-0 on Leon Wagner's home run. Here's Sonny Siebert now to take a look at Phil Ortega. Ortega, who signed for a bonus upwards of $75,000 with the Los Angeles Dodgers, delivers a strike. Filomeno Coronado, Phil Ortega. There's a swing and a miss on the fastball, and it's strike 2. Ortega really bends that arm. He goes way back. Almost looks double jointed. right arm delivery by Ortega is very similar to one of Don Drysdale, except Drysdale comes a little more sidearm. Low and outside, and it's 1 ball, 2 strikes. Outfield straight away for Washington. Howard in left, Locke in center. King is in right field. Savarine at third. Now the 1-2 pitch. It's a pop fly. In foul territory is Dick Nen. Casanova, the catcher, waving to him, and Nen has it, and there's 1 away. So Sonny Siebert fouls to the first baseman. 1 out in the bottom of the 3rd inning. The Indians have a total of 2 hits. A home run by Wags in the first, a single by Alvis on a bunt. And since that time, young Phil Ortega's retired 5 Indians in a row. Now he'll take a look at Vic Davalillo. Little Victor batting .229. Now Ortega ready, and he fires. A fastball bunt attempt, foul. Davalillo's the kind of bunter that throws the bat out there, leaves it, and sort of suspends it in midair while he's running down the baseline. And it's foul, and it's strike 1. Ortega, tall, young right-hander. Looks like that arm's going to come loose half the time. 6'4". Fires a little low. 1-1. Remember one of the years we were training out in Tucson, he was pitching for, I believe, for the Mesa High School. He had an incredible record. He was as big then as he is now. Here's the 1-1. Outside with a fastball. It's 2 balls and a strike. He used to get by primarily with his fastball, and they've been trying to teach him how to throw the breaking ball and not to hang the curve. Got a good slider. Now the 2-1 pitch. And it's a little too low and outside, ball 3. Ortega looking in, and he's ready to go. And it's too low and inside, it's ball 4. So Davalillo works him for a base on balls. Indians have a runner at first. Sure good to see Mrs. Ralph Loker well again and back rooting for her favorite team, the Indians. Now the pitch to Chico Simone. Fastball. Casanova fires down to Nen at first. Back safely is Davalillo. Casanova really whips that ball around. Now Ortega checking the runner at first. Vic Davalillo on with a walk. Leads away. There he fakes his going, and a foul tip. 1-1. Chico Simone tried to check his swing and didn't. And draws a 1-1 count. Raise your eyes to the heaven. Here's the 1-1 pitch. Ortega checking on Davalillo and throws over to first, and he's back. George, good kid Susie, who's one of the coaches with the Washington Center. Ball 2. According to Bertie Tebbetts, the Indians manager, was the best knuckleball catcher he ever saw. And Susie's advice to young catchers who had to handle knuckleball pitches was to get down low and look up. Now the look over, and there he goes, and the pitch is swung on and missed. Casanova's throw is on the first base side, safe, and they almost got the umpire. Brinkman had to break over on the first base side a second to take the throw, and in so doing, he almost knocked Jerry Neudecker off his feet. Davalillo's got a stolen base. The Indians with a runner on second. And a swing and a miss by Chico Simone, and it's 2-2. So Simone pumping that bat as Ortega gets set. Davalillo leads away from second. Swung on, and there's a base hit to the left side. Here's Davalillo making the turn at third. He's on the score, and the throw goes to second base. Simone delivers with a base hit. And boy, that walk and stolen base pay off, and the Indians take a 2-0 lead. Simone with a line drive single. And the Indians with their third hit now take a 2-0 lead, and Wags, who had a home run his first time up, comes up to face the hard-throwing right-hander. Simone leads away. Here's a ground ball. It's foul, just outside of first. Boy, Dick Nen went racing over there. That ball was scorched, too. Wags now has a total of 6 home runs, and he's got 15 RBIs. Leader in the run batted in department is Fred Whitfield with 26. The outfield split around to the right. Simone with a long lead at first. Ortega checks him. Now comes down with a pitch. There's a swing and a high pop in the shallow left field. Could be trouble. Coming on is Howard. Going out is Brinkman, and he drops the ball. Fair ball. Simone trying to go to second, and he's forced at safe at second base. And now Simone is round at second. Going to third. The pitcher takes the throw and tags him, and he's out. And here comes Gil Hodges out to protest. Apparently, the second baseman Blasingame, who took the throw, juggled the ball while in the act of trying to force Chico Simone. Chico had held up and then tried to go to second base on the play and did get to second base. The throw was made by Eddie Brinkman into second base, but the ball apparently was juggled while the force play was being attempted. Chico, figuring that possibly he was out, had gone beyond the bag and then suddenly turned for third where nobody was covering. Ortega raced over to cover the bag, and he took the throw coming over. So they're going to charge an error. Error charged to the shortstop. And that got Simone to second. And then 6-4-1 on the play to get Simone. And Wagner goes to second on the throw. So Eddie Brinkman had gone down along that left field line, a tough chance, and he had the ball in his glove. It dropped out. Then he made the throw to the second baseman Blasingame, who was covering second, but umpire Neudecker said he was juggling the ball. Blasingame now showing that Simone had run out of the baseline. So now, instead of getting Chico around to third, we've got Leon Wagner on second. 2 out, the Indians have a run in as Davalillo had scored on the single. But Wags on second, 2 down. Max Alvis the batter. Fastball low and in the dirt, blocked beautifully by Casanova. Well, that was a kind of a wacky play. One ball to count. Max Alvis waiting as Ortega, the tall right-hander, gets set and he fires. There's a strike called. It's 1-1. The New York Mets today bought Bob Shaw from San Francisco. Price reported in excess of $20,000. He had a 6.67 earned run average, 1-4, 1 loss record, 16-9 last year, and in 59 with the White Sox, he won 18 and lost 6. Inside, ball 2 and strike 1. So a lot of trades moving around. Yankees getting Fred Talbot, a right-hander, and Bill Bryan, a catcher from Kansas City, and giving up Bill Stafford, a right-hand pitcher, Roger Repose, a left-handed swinging outfielder, and Gil Blanco, a 6'5", 217-pound, 20-year-old pitcher, and probably some money. Now the 2-1, and it's too low, and it's ball 3. 3 balls and a strike. 3 balls and 1 strike. Max Alvis trying to keep it alive. The Indians are now leading 2-0. Got a run in the first and a run here in the third. And it's ball 4 to Max Alvis. Base on balls, 2 men on for the Indians, 2 out, and Fred Whitfield about it. Well, I just saw Joe Gordon down there in the runway. So, Dale Mitchell is here. Joe Gordon's checked in. And they'll all be here on Sunday for the old-timers game starting at 1:30. Fred Whitfield standing in, waiting on young Phil Ortega. Wags with a pretty good lead from second. Max Alvis jumps off to a lead at first, and the pitch now to Wingy. Takes a swing on a curve, but he misses strike 1. 1 strike to count. Wags again edging down towards third. Max Alvis moves away from first. Now the stretch and the pitch. Another curveball popped into right center field. Coming on as the center fielder Locke. He's there and he makes the catch. So for the Indians in the third inning, 1 run, 1 hit, 1 error, 2 left. At the end of 3, Cleveland 2 and Washington 0. Now we're ready to go to the top of the 4th inning, and the Indians leading in this ball game by a score of 2-0. Sonny Siebert will be taking a look at the top of the batting order now. Sonny put him down in order in the first, second, and third. He's posted 3 strikeouts, and there has not been a Washington center hit the ball out of the infield so far. Joe Askew makes the throw down to the second baseman, Dick Hauser, tonight. Hauser, who has been bugged with a sore thumb, happened to pass Bertie Tebbetts earlier this evening. Bertie asked him how he was feeling, and he responded with the word fine. And Bertie responded with a couple of words, you're in. Don Blasingame standing in against the right-hander Sonny Siebert. Blasingame with a .202 batting average. First pitch by Sonny, a ground ball right side. Hauser charging in, flips over to the first baseman Whitfield, who's 1 away. Blasingame bouncing out, second to first, 4-3. Hauser to Whitfield. And the batter now will be Bob Savarine. Savarine bounced back to the pitcher, Sonny Siebert, in the first inning. Eddie Yost coaching at third, and the first pitch by Siebert. Fastball in tight on him. Ball 1. 1 out, 1 ball to count, nobody on. And the next pitch is a swing and a miss, and it's 1-1. Indians with 2 runs on 3 hits and no errors. Boston and Baltimore have gotten underway. No score at the end of 1. Is that Stang pitching? Thank you, Dick. Now the 1-1 pitch. Here's a ground ball to Whitfield. Grabs it, steps on the bag, and there's 2 away. Lee Stang going against Wally Bunker. No score at the end of 1 inning. And the batter now will be Jim King. The outfield playing Jim King, a good pull hitter and long ball clouder, pulled around to the right. Now the pitch by Siebert. There's a swing and a miss on a curveball. Strike 1. Cincinnati has failed to score against the New York Mets. Atlanta, Pittsburgh just getting underway. Cards and Phil, Chicago and Houston. Now the 1-strike pitch. Another curve, this one a little inside. Ball 1, strike 1. One and 1 with 2 out. Nobody on. Sonny Siebert pitching in the 4th. A little outside, 2 balls and a strike. Don't forget tomorrow night's game with Washington, 6 o'clock. Next pitch, swing and a miss, and it's strike 2. By the way, that rained-out game with New York last night has been reset as part of a twilighter on Friday, August 5th. That makes the weekend with the Yankees a big 5-game affair. 2 games on Friday night, 1 on Saturday afternoon, and 2 on that Sunday. There's a fly ball hit into shallow left field. Coming on is Wagner, and he makes the catch. Well, that was a long run by Wags, and he came up with it. First ball hit to the outfield. And so Sonny Siebert now has retired. The first 12 men to face him in order. And in the middle of the 4th inning, the score, Cleveland 2 and Washington 0. Now we go to the Indian half of the 4th inning. And leading it off, batting in the number 6 spot tonight, is Rocky Calabedo. Indians have 2 runs on 3 hits. They got a run in the 1st inning when Wags poked his 6th home run of the year with 2 out. They went down in order in the 2nd, and in the 3rd, with 1 out, a walk to Davalillo, stolen base, and a single by Simone. So the Rock is up there batting .224. Don Blasingame, who over the years has bugged Calaveto a little bit by moving around near second base. Popping his glove, checking, moves a little bit now, and the pitch to Rocky. Swings and he drives a fly ball foul down the right field line. Racing over is Dick Nen, going over in the track, and he backhands it beautifully. Nice play by the Washington first baseman. Calaveto fouls out to Nen. One out for the Indians in the 4th inning. They lead it 2-0. Sonny Siebert has not allowed a Washington Senator to reach first base. Here's Dick Hauser standing in, bounced out his first time, takes a fastball over the outside corner for a strike. Dick batting .262. Ortega fires. There's a ground ball left side. Brinkman moving to his left, back of second, throws to first. He's got him, and there's 2 away. Short to first, Brinkman to Dick Nen. 2 down in the 4th inning, and Joe Askew, the batter. He popped out with the first baseman his first time up in the 2nd inning. And the first pitch is a strike on the inside corner. Checks away, and it's 1-1. Pitch was inside as Joe Askew checked his swing. Now 1 ball and 1 strike, 2 down. We're playing in the bottom of the 4th inning. Outfield straight away. Ortega works on the 1-1, and this one's too high. Ball 2 and strike 1. Phil Ortega, who's won 5 and lost 2. Gets set, comes down with the 2-1 pitch. There's a looper, the second baseman backing up. He gloves it, and that's all. Askew pops to Don Blasingame at second base. In the 4th inning for the Indians, nothing across. And at the end of 4 innings of play, it's the Indians 2 and the Washington Senators nothing.
Now, fans, we move into the first half of the 5th inning. The line score: Cleveland 2 runs, 3 hits, no errors. Washington no runs, no hits, and 1 error. Phil Ortega for Washington, Sonny Siebert for the Indians. Right now, while we have the time, let's pause briefly for station identification. This is the Cleveland Indians Baseball Network. One of the great second basemen in the history of the Indians and the American League, Joe Gordon, just walked in to say hello along with Tony Cavoli. Tony's not on the All-Star squad, but he's just a visitor. But Gordon is, along with Hegan, Harder, Gomez, Grove, and a host of others. Here's Sunday for the Old Timers Day game. Howard takes ball 1 inside. Big Frank Howard, 6'7", 250 pounds, stands tall. Siebert's pitch is a strike. Slider worked the outside corner at the knees. Boston and Baltimore underway. No score, end of 1. Lee Stang for Boston and Wally Bunker. for Baltimore. Here's the pitch. There's a fly ball to straightaway center. Vic Davalillo moves over under it, and he makes the catch. Every out builds up a little more pressure. Every pitch becomes a little more important as Sonny Siebert nears the halfway mark in a perfect ball game. No Senator has reached first base. Dick Nen is the batter. He grounded out his first time up. A hard ground ball to the second baseman. Ball went inside. 3, 6, 9, 12, 13 men have gone down in order. Locke is on deck. Eddie Yost walking up and down in the coach's box at third. The pitch is low and into the dirt. There's ball two. Ball two, no strikes. Joe Pignatano is coaching at first base. Tonight is the Indians' annual Teachers' Night here at the stadium. The pitch is a strike. Good changeup is over. And tomorrow afternoon, here at the stadium, prior to the game tomorrow night, which will be at 6 o'clock, the Tribe will conduct a clinic for more than 3,600 high school baseball players. There's ball three, high and inside. 3-1. Nen looks down to the third base coach to see what he should do. Three and one the count. The outfield is deep and around to right. The Indians lead 2-0. Nen batting .210. Now the 3-1 pitch coming on. Ball four, high and outside. There is the first base runner in the ball game. Nen with a walk. On at first and coming to bat is Don Locke. Last night's postponement was the 5th for the Indians at home this season. The game has already been rescheduled. Siebert's pitch to Locke, a strike, curveball over the outside corner, throw to first by Askew, who has a quick move to the bases with runners on. He keeps them alert. Casanova, the catcher, is on deck. One out. The pitch is too high. Ball one and strike one. Don't forget the Boston Red Sox will be in here next week, Monday and Tuesday. The Red Sox with one of the most sensational rookies in the game today, this year. Great Scott, George Scott, the exciting Carl Yastrzemski, Tony Conigliaro, and a host of others will be here. The pitch, swing and a foul out of the catcher's mitt, and a fine catch by that gentleman. That's a baloney from Boberton. Is he ever proud of it? He took two bows. That one particular box, those seats, have been passed down through the family. Year after year, Indian fans on deck. 1-2 on the batter. Locked back in. Check to the runner with a look. Siebert's pitch. Check swing. Ball two, outside and low. Game time tomorrow will be 6 o'clock, 6 p.m. Sunday, 1:30 for the old-timers game, to be followed by the regularly scheduled game, a single game between Washington and Cleveland. Now the pitch, 2-2, side arm, a swing and a miss, struck him out. Snap throw to first, but the runner is back ahead of it. Siebert gets his fourth strikeout. Casanova coming to bat. Paul Casanova bats right, average .237. The wind is out of the north-northeast again tonight, blowing across the field from third to first. Runner at first leads. The pitch is outside. Dick Nin drawing a walk. The 3-1 pitch was a little bit high and outside, and he became the first base runner for Washington. Cincinnati and the Mets are underway, no score, into the first inning. Atlanta at Pittsburgh getting underway, St. Louis at Philadelphia starting. The pitch, outside and low, ball 2. Again, Askew goes to first baseman Whitfield with a throw, but the runner is back. We're in the 5th with 2 out. Siebert mowed down 13 Senators before he gave up a walk to Dick Nin. Now he has 2 out and is facing Casanova, right-hand hitting catcher. The 2-0 pitch, a strike. He's been shaving those corners nicely with his breaking stuff. Like Gary Bell, Sonny throws the hard slider, which is an excellent pitch, particularly if you have good control of it. Long lead by the runner Nin at first. The pitch, swing and a miss. He went for a bad ball. And Casanova's a little bit put out at himself. Boston is here next Monday and Tuesday nights. After which the Indians head east to play the Yankees, the Senators, and the Red Sox. Now Siebert goes to first with a throw. Eddie Brinkman waiting in the on-deck circle. The 2-2 pitch coming, swung on, a ground ball to the right side. Second baseman Hauser has it. The throw to first is good in time. Casanova goes out. The side retired. And for 5 innings, Siebert has set him down without a base hit. No runs, no hits. 1 walk, 1 left. End of 4.5. It is Cleveland 2 and Washington nothing. St. Louis Cardinals and the Philadelphia Phils are tied 2-2 at the end of 1. The Cards got 2 runs off Wise, but the Phils got them right back when Allen hit a home run with a mate aboard. It's Simmons pitching for the Cardinals. Atlanta leading Pittsburgh 2-0 end of 1. Johnson for Atlanta, Veal for the Pirates. Chicago at Houston not underway. Los Angeles at San Francisco not underway. Ed Bersu has just hit a 3-run homer in the last half of the second inning for the New York Mets, and the Mets are leading the Reds at least 3-0 at the end, or in the second inning. Maloney for Cincinnati, Rustic for the Mets. No other action. Boston and Baltimore still no score. Baltimore batting in the last of the second. And the batter is Sonny Siebert. Ortega's first pitch is called a strike. Much to the dissatisfaction of the folks in the stands, we're trying to help the umpire Honachek a little. Phil Ortega delivers. There's a high hopper to the third baseman. A leap by Savarine. Down with it. The throw to first is in time. Siebert goes out on a good play by Savarine, the Senator third baseman. 5-3 out. You know, we mentioned Pete Rickett a moment ago. He's now the new strikeout king of the American League at this stage of the game. He's worked 99 2/3 innings, and he has 92 strikeouts. Moved ahead of Sam McDowell while McDowell was on the injured list. McDowell has worked only 69 innings, 30 less. There's a drive to center field by Davalillo, and the center fielder Locke goes back and hauls it down. He was playing shallow, made it look sensational as he had to go back and haul it down on a one-handed grab. But it was a routine fly ball. So there are 2 out, and the batter is Chico Simone. Single to drive in a run in the third inning. The Indians are leading 2-0. The pitch is low and into the dirt. Ball one. Fireworks after the game tonight. There's a line shot into left field, base hit. Simone hits first. As he makes the turn, he holds. Hitting in the number 2 spot seems to agree with Chico. That's his second hit. And the Indians' fourth. It brings up Leon Wagner, who had a big hit in the first inning for the Indians. His 6th home run of the year. His batting average is now .262. Takes the first pitch, too low, ball one. Number 27, Leon Wagner. The outfield shading Wags around to right. Deep in all fields. Check to the runner. Ortega's pitch. High, ball two, no strikes. The Mets did get just 3 runs on Ed Brissou's 3-run homer in the second inning off Maloney. So the Mets lead Cincinnati 3-0 into 2. The Dodgers and the Giants will have a head-on battle for first place out on the coast starting tonight. Two and no count. Tall, 6'4", 195-pounder. Ortega is ready. Turns and goes to first with a throw. He figures with speed, which Simone possesses. Chico might go. There is a changeup too low. Ball 3 and no count now. Tomorrow night, game time 6 o'clock. Second game in this series, and Sunday afternoon, the finale. Preceded at 1:30 by the Old Timers game. Some of the great stars of the past, Indian stars and others of the majors. Both American and National League stars will be here. The pitch is a strike. He got the changeup over. They'll tie. Ball 3 and strike 1. Wags will be looking and hoping, I'm sure, for a fastball, but he'll be looking this 3-1 over carefully. It's usually a batter's pitch. Foul back into the upper stands. It was a half fastball. 3-2. I'll never forget the time that the late, lovable, beloved Tris Speaker tried to use that expression very rapidly to describe a pitch that was not really all fast, it was just half. 3-2 count on the batter. 2 out, there he goes. The pitch swung on, popped up. Foul, third base side. Bob Savarine moves over under it, and he has it. The side is retired. No runs, 1 hit, 1 left. In the 5, the score, Washington 0, Cleveland 2. Now it's play ball in the first half of the 6th inning. The line score, Cleveland 2 runs, 4 hits, no errors. Washington no runs, no hits, and 1 error. It was a youngster up in Canada who wrote the letter suggesting that when we give the score, we always, out of politeness, give the visiting team first, whether they are ahead or not. So we'll try it. Washington 0, Cleveland 2. As long as the Indians are on the plus side, it sounds good. Eddie Brinkman at bat. He'll lead it off for the Senators here in the 6th. His batting average currently is .208. He takes a strike. He struck out swinging on a bad pitch his first time up. Sonny has now racked up 4 strikeouts. He has given up 1 base on balls. On deck is Ortega, then the top of the batting order. A strike hits the inside corner, just above the knees. More illustrious names of the past. Hal Trusky, one of the great first basemen. High Trainer, Hall of Fame third baseman of the Pirates, Luke Appling. Returning Sunday for the old-timers game. Way outside, past the catcher and back to the screen. Ball 1 and strike 2. Ought to be real fun to see those fellas along with others like Enos Country Slaughter, Johnny Vandermeer. Double no-hit. Vic Rashi, Satchel Paige, Johnny Mize, Joe Ducky Wucky Medwick, Ed Lopat, Bob Lemon, Joe Gordon, Joe Sewell. 1-2 pitch, swing and a miss. He struck him out. Well, Lee Stang has been lifted in the game in Baltimore. Dick Stigman is now pitching for Boston in the second inning. Wouldn't it be awful if the sting of Lee Stang doesn't hold in a Boston uniform? The jinx he holds over Baltimore. Phil Ortega at bat, and he gets a strike. Fastball at the knees. Cut the corner. One out and nobody on. There's a ground ball to the first base side. Whitfield backs up, takes, throws high to the pitcher covering, but Siebert is tall. He leaps and brings it down. That's strange. There was Whitfield giving us an example of what he described once on one of the interviews as a bad first baseman's throw to a pitcher. Underhand, easy toss. He says you work on these things in spring training, you become accustomed to a sort of a firm toss. He almost tossed it over Sonny's head. So there are 2 out, and here's Blasingame. Getting this pesky little rascal out twice has been a part of Sonny's fine pitching. His Blasingame is tough to get out, even though his average isn't very high. Swings, and it's a line drive foul, third base side. See what I mean? He pokes that bat all over the place. The outfield straightaway. Calaveto's deep in right. Siebert's pitch. High and inside with a changeup. Ball 1 and strike 1. Honachek on the balls and strikes. That's Humont at first. Over at third is Kenneman. Neudecker, back of second. 2 out. The pitch is a strike. Work the outside corner. On deck is Bob Savarine. We're in the 6th here at the stadium. We hope you're here in the stadium tomorrow night with us and Sunday afternoon. The pitch swung on. The ground ball to the left side. It's going to be a tough one. Chico Simone has it. Long throw to first in time. He got him. Fine play. Chico Simone coming head on with a dribbler. Got the speedy Blasingame on a close one. 6-3 out. 3 up and 3 down. And 19 men are all that Sonny has faced in 6 innings. Given up just 1 walk. No runs, no hits. End of 5.5. It is Washington 0, Cleveland 2. Now we move into the last half of the 6th inning. 2 runs on 4 hits for the Indians. Nothing across the board for the Senators, except 1 error. And the man left the board. Max Alvis will lead it off, number 10, the Indians' third baseman, batting .246. Baltimore came up with 4 runs in the 2nd inning, chased Lee Stang, and they lead Boston 4-0 at the end of 2. All right, Phil Ortega. Washington right-hander pitches. Alvis swings, but he misses. Strike 1. Sure good to see all of the teachers from our great state here at tonight's ball game. Guest of the management. Phil Ortega is ready. He rocked twice. Pitch is low and into the dirt. Ball 1 and strike 1. Reggie Arturo coaching at first base. George Strickland is coaching at third. Batter on deck, Fred Whitfield. Here's the pitch. Foul back, out of play. Up the stands, be ready. Boom. Ball 1 and strike 2. Boy, the sky is absolutely clear and beautiful. All the storm seems to have blown out. And the 1-2 pitch coming at Alvis, almost hit him. Ball 2 inside. Change up, but he didn't get it over. Ball 2 and strike 2. Ortega shakes off a sign. Delivers. It's swung on, popped up. The pitcher is calling for it. They're going to let him have it. And he makes the catch. Easy pop-up. And Ortega, rather than wait for his third baseman to get into position, figured he would take it himself and did successfully. 1 out. And the batter is Fred Whitfield. Wingy has struck out and fried to center. Left-hand batter takes a strike, fastball at the knees. Ortega's been spotting his pitches very well. Washington can be proud of this boy, Phil Ortega, and the left-hander, Pete Rickett, that they got from the Dodgers. Swing and a miss as Wingy went chasing on that changeup. Rickett has won 6, and Ortega has won 5. So they have won 11 games between them. Ball 1 outside and a bit high. Ball 1 and strike 2. Sam McDowell continues to take treatment for his sore arm. It's muscular soreness. Pitch is swung on a line drive into right field. Base hit. Holding at first on the throw to the infield. And Rocky Calabedo comes to bat. That's hit number 5 for the Indians. Whitfield's first. It's 2 minutes to 9. Whoop. Gaston Whitfield's base hit. And Calaveto stands in. He swings. It's a fly ball to left field. Too high. The left fielder Howard moving in under it, and he makes the catch. There are 2 gone. Well, things have been pretty quiet out there in left field for the big fella. That's his first chance. He was in on the pop-up by Wagner. He was in the vicinity, but the ball was handled by Brinkman, the shortstop, who drew the error. And now, a little meeting out there on the mound. The catcher, Casanova, out to talk with Ortega. Indians are leading Washington by a score of 2-0. There are 2 out, and we're in the last of the 6. Hauser at bat. He looks at a strike. Hauser turning up okay off the injured list and back into the lineup. Larry Brown continues to improve. Here's the pitch. Outside, the ball got away from the catcher, but Whitfield is holding. Nice recovery. Time is called. Count is 1-1. We also have some Cub Scouts here tonight, along with their parents. Cub Scouts, 452. All right, back in play. Hauser stands in. The 0-1 pitch coming at him, and it is inside and low. 1-1 pitch. It's now ball 2 and strike 1. Askew on deck. A look to the runner by Ortega. He goes to first baseman Nin with a throw. But he must not be worried too much about Whitfield, although Winger did steal a base in the Yankee series. There's a swing and a miss. Strike 2 on Hauser. The little Colonel was trying to go to right field for one, but he failed to connect. It's now ball 2 and strike 2. Last half of the 6th inning, the Indians lead 2-0. There have been only 5 hits in this ball game. The Indians have them all. Senators have had only 1 base runner. Dick Nin, the first baseman, drew a walk. The pitch, a strike hit the outside corner with a slider, and Hauser is called out on strikes. The side is retired. In the 6th for the Indians, no runs, mark up a hit. 1 is left. And at the end of 6, the score is Washington 0, Cleveland 2.
Now we go to the top of the 7th inning. The Indians leading in the line score. The Indians 2 runs on 5 hits and no errors. Sonny Siebert has allowed only 1 member of the Washington Senators to reach first base, and the Washington Senators have committed 1 error. So Siebert now, having passed 2/3 of the mile post, tries to go through these next 3 innings, trying to get the Washington Senators out of there. Sonny's pitching very effectively tonight. His fastball moving well, his curveball breaking well. The end of 2.5 innings. Baltimore 4, Boston 0. We'll be getting underway in just a moment. Bowden against Aguirre. Minnesota against Chicago. Boswell against Buzhart. First batter to face Sonny Siebert in the 7th will be Bob Savarine, left-hand batter, batting .206. The outfield shaded to the right. First pitch on the way. Fastball a little too high outside, ball 1. Real fine crowd on hand. Now the 1-ball delivery by Sonny. A strike is in there. That ball really broke. Savarine pulled away, and the ball cut the inside corner. 1-1. Tomorrow night at 6 o'clock, the Indians and the Senators will go again. And on Sunday at 1:30, the old-timers game. 2:30, the Indians and the Senators. 1-1 pitch. Fastball outside, 2 balls and a strike. A breeze really blowing across. And it's coming out of the northwest now, blowing across from left to right field. High and inside. Ball 3, 3-1. Three and 1 as Sonny Siebert checks with Joe Askew. And the pitch. Strike is in there. 3-2. Those of you who sent letters in when we were broadcasting from California, the big 17-inning game, the most distant point from which we received a letter was Brooklyn, New York. 3-2 pitch. There's a foul away. A gentleman in Brooklyn asked if he could have his tickets for when the Indians play in New York, and the Cleveland Ball Club's going to come through. We were amazed at the number of people who apparently stayed up all night to listen to that game. Now the 3-2 pitch. Line shot to Whitfield. Line drive into Fred Whitfield's glove. 1 out on the 7th, and let's pause. 10 seconds for station identification. This is the Cleveland Indians Baseball Network. This is Bob Neal with Jimmy Dudley and our engineer Dick Satterwhite. Jim King, the right fielder, stands in. He's bounced out second to first, a fly ball to left. Siebert's pitch. He fouls it off. It's drifting back into the seats. It's out of play, and it's strike one. Next pitch. Change-up curve drops a little low, and it's 1-1. 1 ball, 1 strike, 1 out. Jim King batting .273 in the outfield, playing him just a little to the right. Right side of the infield, well back. Hauser at second base, Whitfield at first. Now the 1-1 pitch. Ground ball, pull foul. Joe Pignatano gave it the look. It rolls along. Fella down there fell out of the box seats and reaching for that one. And he flips it in the air. He's got himself a souvenir. Now Siebert's 1-2 pitch. Foul back on the screen. It's still 1 ball and 2 strikes. Baltimore did not score in their half of the third, so it's Baltimore 4, Boston nothing. In the Yankee-Detroit game, it's Jim Bouton going for New York, Hank and Gary for the Tigers. Now the pitch. Struck him out on a curveball. So Sonny Siebert picks up another strikeout. That gives him 3, 4, 5, 6 strikeouts so far. 2 out in the 7th inning. Now the big fella, Frank Howard. Struck out in the 2nd, hit a fly ball to center in the 5th. Sonny Siebert working to the big fella. Takes a curveball. It's a little low and outside, ball 1. Talk about ball players referred to as big fellas. This has to be the daddy of them all. Man, he is towering. Sonny Siebert's 1 ball delivery. Swings and he fouls it off, and it's 1-1. Joe Askew wearing his helmet tonight. Real good idea for catchers to be wearing these babies, especially with those bats being whipped around. 1-1 delivery. Swing and a miss, and it's strike 2. Now 1 ball, 2 strikes. 2 out, nobody on. Outfield sliced around to the left. Siebert's 1-2 pitch, a sidearmer that just missed. Boy, he gave that a big try. Sort of a crossfire as well. He stepped almost to the edge of the grass from the mound. Now it's 2 balls, 2 strikes. 2 down. Indians leading 2-0. 7th inning. And the 2-2. He tries it again, and he missed this time inside. 3-2. Trying to get him to back out of there. Frank Howard stood right in there. Don't forget, tomorrow night, 6 o'clock, Sunday, the Old Timers game starts at 1:30. 2 down. The payoff pitch by Sonny Siebert. There's a little high pop foul. Back of the plate. Askew waving everybody away. Comes over. He's got it. Sonny Siebert puts him down in the 7th. And so, Sonny Siebert, who retired the first 13 men to face him, gave up a walk to Dick Nen, and since that time has retired 8 of the Senators in a row, continues to try and reach that you-know-what. No runs, no hits, no errors, and none left. So in the middle of the 7th inning, the Indians 2 and the Washington Senators nothing. Now we go to the bottom of the 7th inning. Chuck Hinton running out to the bullpen, I think, is going to loosen up. Sonny Siebert has pitched himself a masterful game so far. Only 2 members of the Senators have hit a fly ball, and the rest have been ground balls, with the exception of the base-on balls of the 6 strikeouts. Only 1 man for the Washington Senators has gotten on base. That was Dick Nen, who walked back in the 5th inning. So Sonny Siebert has gone a long way, 7 innings so far. And Joe Askew comes up there now. He's popped out to the first baseman, popped to the second baseman. Phil Ortega, the right-hander, who's pitched well, he's allowed only 5 hits. Fires down to the Indian catcher. Curveball, he slaps it out into right center field. Fly ball, and Don Locke, the center fielder, is under it and takes it for out number 1. Ortega changed up on that curveball, let Askew hit it, and let him supply all the power. 1 out in the 7th, and listen to the hand Sonny Siebert's getting. Sonny Siebert standing in. Sonny has fouled out and bounced out. First pitch to him. Swings and he fouls it off upstairs. Strike 1. Yes, sir, the tension begins to grow. Listening to Dale Mitchell talking on the pregame program today. I remember that game that Don Larson pitched in the World Series because I broadcast it. Curve is inside. It's 1-1. One ball and 1 strike. And the pitch. Too high, and it bounces out of the catcher's mitt. 2 balls, 1 strike. We're in the bottom of the 7th. The Indians leading 2-0. Now the 2-1 pitch. Fouled again, sliced off into the upper deck. Now it's 2-2. You know, Larry Brown may accompany the team on their trip. I don't mean by that he's ready to play, because he sure isn't. But he's working out. He's still a little weak, and you can understand that. But it'll give him a chance to work out with the team if they decide to take him along. Now the 2-2 pitch. Struck him out. He gave him the fastball and outside, and Sonny took a cut at it. So Phil Ortega has made his 3rd strikeout. And now Vic Davalillo, the Indian center fielder in tonight's game. He's hit a fly ball to right field. He walked in the 3rd, stole 2nd, and came home on Chico Simone's single. Indians got their other run in the 1st inning with 2 out when Wags hit his 6th home run of the year. They're going to move the outfield around a little for Vic. Don Locke has moved in shallow in left center. Frank Howard shallow in left. And Jim King is a little in right center. Takes a changeup on the outside corner for a strike. Chuck Hinton throwing in the Indian bullpen. As the tension continues to mount. Wind up, and the pitch on the way. Down low, and it's 1-1. Two out, 1-1. Here's Ortega's next delivery. And it's a strike on the outside corner of the fastball, 1-2. That fastball really moved. Sam McDowell will probably pitch tomorrow night's game. Now Davalillo steps out to pick up a little dirt. And Ortega getting set again, checks with Casanova as catcher. 2 out, nobody on. Indians 2, Washington nothing in the pitch. He struck him out. Davalillo had a good cut, and he becomes strikeout victim number 4 against the right-hander for the Senators in the 7th inning for the Indians. Nothing across, and at the end of 7 full innings of play, the Cleveland Indians 2, the Washington Senators nothing. Now it's the top of the 8th inning, and for Washington we'll have Dick Nen, the first baseman, Don Locke, the center fielder, and Paul Casanova, the catcher. Sonny Siebert getting set to work. Has registered 6 strikeouts in his 7 innings he's worked so far. And the only Senator who has reached base, Dick Nen, will be the first man to face him in the 5th inning. Last time Washington was in here, Dick Nen really started to hit that ball. He'd had a report prior to that in his previous year's work that he was a late starter. And there were a lot of Herculean efforts in that game. You remember the great catch by Locke with his arm hanging over that right center field fence. Norm Cash and Jake Wood have each homered in the 1st inning. And so the Tigers lead at least by a 2-0 score over the Yankees, with the Tigers batting in the last of the 1st inning. Here's Dick Nen, left-hand batter. Sonny Siebert firing to him, and he takes it high. Ball 1. Boston failed to score in their half of the 4th. Baltimore still leads them 4-0. Joe Askew down with a sign. Outfield is straight away and deep. There's a long drive to right field. It's curving, and it's going to be foul in the upper deck. Oh, that was... Big Belt had the distance. Indians still have Wags in left field. Davaleo in center. Calabedo on right. Alves at third. Simone at short. Hauser at second base. Whitfield at first. Now the 1-1 pitch to Nen. Takes a fastball just a shade inside and high. Ball 2, strike 1. Minnesota failed to score in their half of the 1st inning. Chicago now batting. Boswell against Buzz Hart. Kansas City will be at California tonight. Ground ball right side. Hauser moving over. Grabs it. Throws to Whitfield. He's got it. And there's one away in the 8th inning. One down, and the batter now is Don Locke. Right-hand batting center fielder. He popped out to the third baseman in the 2nd, struck out in the 5th. New York Mets leading Cincinnati 4-0 at the end of 5. Atlanta now leading Pittsburgh 3-0 at the end of 3.5. Sonny Siebert's first pitch to Locke. Strike with a curveball, caught the outside corner. One strike, one out, nobody on. The Indians lead 2-0. Here's the pitch by Siebert. Curveball, line to Max Alves. What a play Max Alves made. Jumping high in the air and spearing that ball. There have been 2 real shots that have been hit off Sonny Siebert. This one by Max Alves in the 8th inning. So now Sonny Siebert has 2 down here in the 8th inning. Paul Casanova bounced out of the shortstop, bounced out of the second baseman. Sonny Siebert ready to work, and the pitch coming. He takes a strike. Ron Klein is now starting to throw in the Washington bullpen. Here's Siebert with a 1-strike pitch. Curveball, a ground ball. Simone charging in, up with the ball, fires to first. Low throw, followed by Whitfield. Throw is in the dirt. And it's an error. Charge to Chico Simone. That is only the 2nd member of the Washington Senators to get on base. Nen walked back in the 5th. Casanova gets on the error. So now the Washington Senators with a runner on first. And Eddie Brinkman, the shortstop, is due up there. And it looks like Bob Chance is going to come up and swing for him. Chico's throw was in the dirt. And Wingy could not handle it as it bounced back up. And they're charged on Chico Simone. So we have a runner now for Washington on first base. Each team has been charged with an error. Bob Chance coming up there. Baby Huey of a few years ago with the Indians. Now swinging for the Washington Senators. 208 batting average. He's had 1 home run. He's had 3 doubles. Sonny Siebert facing this tough left-hand batter. Checks the runner at first and comes down with a pitch. A foul bounces back off the screen. One strike as Siebert jammed him with a fastball. He got it up on the handle. Casanova jumps off to a short lead at first. Whitfield playing back of the runner with Chance, the left-hand batter, up there. Sonny Siebert ready in the pitch. Foul back upstairs again. Strike two. That one rattling above. No balls, 2 strikes, 2 down. A runner at first base in the top of the 8th inning. Chance moving back in. Waving that bat as Sonny Siebert comes to the bell with a stretch. And the pitch on the way. He struck him out. Strike 3. Chance swung and missed. Joeski tagging him as he dropped the ball. In the 8th inning for Washington, no runs, no hits, 1 error, 1 left. And so Sonny Siebert has allowed only 2 members of the Washington Senators to reach base. A walk to Dick Nen in the 5th, and Casanova getting on in an error in the 8th inning. And so in the middle of the 8th, it's Cleveland 2 and Washington nothing. This is Bob Neal with Jimmy Dudley and our engineer Dick Satterwhite. We're watching a great ball game here tonight. Phil Ortega comes out to pitch in the 8th inning. He's pitched well. He's given up only 5 hits, 2 runs, a home run by Wags in the 1st, and a run on a walk, a stolen base, and a single by Simone that scored Davalillo. But it's Sonny Siebert's night at the moment, with only 2 members of the Senators getting on. A walk in the 5th inning to Nen, a life for Casanova on an error in the 8th. Now the Indians try to add some to their 2-0 lead as Chico Simone takes a swing and hits a foul. Back into the seats, and it's strike 1. And more of this action coming your way tomorrow night at 6 o'clock and again on Sunday. You'll have a chance to relive some of the historic moments of the past on Sunday in the old-timers game starting at 1:30. Now the 1-strike pitch is way outside. It's 1-1. 1 ball, 1 strike. Ortega getting set, looking into his catcher, Paul Casanova. Ken McMullen is now playing third base, and Savarino has moved to shortstop. A foul as Chico checked his swing, and it's now 2 balls and a strike. Chico so far tonight has popped out of the shortstop, singled in the 3rd, and singled again in the 5th. He's got 1 RBI. Wags with his home run has the other. Raditz and Bob Allen still throwing in the bullpen. Landis and Hinton are throwing in the Indian bullpen. Cleveland Indians baseball right here in the stadium. Outfield shaded a little to the left. Ready to go is Ortega in the 1-2 pitch. Way outside with a curve. 2 balls, 2 strikes. Now the 2-2 pitch, and it's a strike call. Fastball that cut the inside corner on Chico Simone. Simone called out on strikes here in the 8th. That's the 5th strikeout for Phil Ortega. Ortega's been a little tough. In the 2nd inning, he retired the side in order. Again in the 4th in order. In the 7th in order. Now he takes a look at Leon Wagner. Wags hammered a home run in the 1st inning, safe on an error in the 3rd, fouled out in the 5th inning. Fouls it off the screen. It's strike 1. We've got the young adults group from St. Paul's in Euclid. And everybody watching this game tonight sitting on the edge of their seats as they look ahead to the top of the 9th inning. Cleveland 2 and Washington nothing. Now the delivery. Ground ball right side. Grabbed by Nen. Races to the bag ahead of Wagner. 2 down as Dick Nen takes that hard smash, steps on the bag, and Wagner bounces out to the first baseman. 2 out in the 8th inning. Max Alvis will be the batter. The Indians 2 runs. Holding up at the moment. Trying to get some more. Max Alvis so far tonight beat out a bunt in the 1st inning, walked in the 3rd, and popped out in the 6th. The pop-out was taken by the pitcher. Curveball, he nubs it off to the right side. Ortega racing over, throws to first, and he's got him, and the side is retired. So at the end of 8 thrilling innings, the score, the Indians 2, the Washington Senators nothing.
Now, fans, we move into the first half of the ninth inning with the Indians leading by a score of 2-0. Couple of changes in the outfield. Hinton replaces Wagner in left field, and Landis replaces Calabedo in right. We're going to have a pinch batter coming up to bat for the pitcher. Ortega will be number 34, Fred Valentine. Valentine batting for Ortega. He is the regular center fielder for Washington, but he came up with a sprained wrist in batting practice tonight, but he's coming up as a pinch hitter. Hinton will bat in Calavedo's spot. Landis will bat in the number 3 spot. Siebert's first pitch, swing and a foul tip in the dirt. There'll be a cheer on every pitch, that's for sure. Sonny Siebert into the windup. The pitch is a strike. A blazing fastball is right in there, belt high. Strike 2. Batter on deck is Don Blasingame. The outfield just about straight away. Valentine has a batting average of .284. Siebert into the windup. The pitch, check swing, too high. Ball 1. He started his swing, but managed to stop it. We see that he has his wrist taped up, so he must have wrenched it enough for it to be painful. And, of course, it kept him out of the starting lineup. Ball 1 and strike 2. Siebert gave up a walk in the 5th inning, and the runner was safe on an error with 2 out in the 8th. The pitch swung on, a line foul past third base. Ball 1 and strike 2. They've hit some shots. Locke hit a line drive to the third baseman, Max Alvis, who went high into the air for it. That was in the 8th inning. In the 7th inning, Savarine lined to the first baseman, Whitfield. Sonny Siebert juggling that ball a little bit out there in his glove. Now looks in for the sign. The batter is Fred Valentine, number 34, pinch hitting for the pitcher. Batting for Phil Ortega. The count is ball 1 and strike 2. Here's the pitch. Outside, ball 2. The fans groan. Tension, excitement, enthusiasm riding on every pitch. You can just sort of feel it as it ripples through this crowd. The pitch, a changeup, is too high. Ball 3, 3-2. Full count on the batter. And these fans, thousands and thousands of them, along with the teachers, move to the front of their seats. The pitch is swung to the ground ball to the right side of the infield. There's Hauser. He has it. The throw to first is in time. One away, and the tension mounts. 2 outs away. The batter is Blasingame. That was a 4-3 play. 2 outs away. Maybe 6 pitches away from history in the making. The Indians lead 2-0. But the score as of right now is a little bit on the secondary side. It's a tremendous performance by one individual. Poised on the mound. The pitch is too high. Ball 1. The outfield shading just maybe a step toward right. Alvis smoothing out the dirt a little bit nervously as he does so at third base. Inside the bag. This guy can poke him to all fields. The 1-0 pitch. Ground ball, third base side. It kicks foul. Rolls to the coach. Alvis would much rather have had it. Ball 1 and strike 1. The batter on deck is Bob Savarine. Tomorrow night, the Indians and the Senators again, 6 o'clock. And Sunday, the old-timers game, along with a regularly scheduled game between the Indians and the Senators. Siebert in action. The pitch is ball 2, high and inside. Ball 2 and strike 1. Sonny Siebert, University of Missouri. The tall right-hander, second best earned run average in the American League last year. Second only to that of the Indians' lefty, Sam McDowell. And the 2-1 pitch. Long foul off to the right. It'll be out of play. And there's one for the nervous fans to juggle. Oh, they do. Down below it goes. Don't be nervous, Sam. Some of Duke Sims's fans were flying by in an airplane tonight, and they had a banner talking about the Duke. 2-2 pitch coming up. Swung on the ground ball to the right side of the infield. Whitfield is going to make the play. Tosses to the pitcher, covering the runner is out. Only one to go. Whitfield to the pitcher, Sonny Siebert. 3-1 play. There are two gone. One out. Three pitches. The clock ticks away. And the heart beats faster as the excitement mounts and mounts and mounts. The fans now are almost on their feet as Bob Savarine stands in. Left-hand batter. The pitch is ball one outside and over the blazing fastball. The outfield straight away. Fred Whitfield has moved in a step or two now, closer to first base. Left-hand batter up. Second baseman Hauser. Step or two in on the skin part of the infield. Alvis moves in. Here's the pitch. Swung on a high pop foul. Back and out of play. Ball one, strike one. Only two Senators have reached in this explosive, exciting ball game. Dick Ninn drew a walk in the fifth inning. He was the first runner to get on. The first and 14 batters. With two out, Casanova was safe on an error in the eighth. And here's the 1-1 pitch. Swung on, fouled back into the upper stands. Maybe just one pitch away. Ball one and strike two. As Sonny Siebert reaches for greatness. He's walked hand in hand with it tonight. Now with two out. The 1-2 pitch coming up, and it is inside, says the umpire. He almost started his swing, and the fans were almost out on the field. Bertie Tebbett's hat did come out on the field. The cameramen are edging closer. Here we go. The count is 2-2. Two out. The pitch coming up. Swung on. A fly ball to left field. There goes Hinton. He's under it. He has it. The ball game is over. Sonny Siebert has pitched a no-hitter. It is the first one since 1951 when Bob Feller defeated the Detroit Tigers 2-1. Listen to the roar of the crowd. No-hitter, and only two men got on. The final score is Cleveland 2, Washington 0. We'll have the rundown on tonight's brilliant performance by Sonny Siebert in just one moment.
Sonny Siebert, no-hitter tonight, is the first pitched by a Cleveland Indian since July 1st, 1951, when Bob Feller
This is a night of excitement. This is Sonny Siebert's night, as he has pitched the first no-hit ball game for the Cleveland Indians since 1951. It was on July 1st of 1951 that Bob Feller defeated the Detroit Tigers, pitching a no-hitter, and gave the Indians their 11th no-hitter in history. This is number 12, and Sonny Siebert joins a long list of illustrious pitchers in the history of the Cleveland Baseball Club. The Indians win it by a score of 2-0. The line score, boy, you think we're not nervous. Everybody was nervous. For Cleveland, it was 2 runs, 5 hits, 1 error, and 5 left. And for the Senators, no runs, no hits. That part's easy. There was 1 error for the Senators, and they had 2 men left on the bases. Siebert walked only 1 batter, struck out 7, and only 2 Senators reached base. Dick Nen, the 14th batter, in the 5th inning walked. And in the 8th inning with 2 out, Casanova was safe on an error. A brilliant performance, and Sonny Siebert joins a great list of illustrious pitchers who have been in the record book as pitching no-hit ball games. Once more, the final score. Sonny Siebert pitching a no-hitter. Cleveland 2 and Washington nothing. Sonny Siebert was certainly a lot of pitcher tonight.
You gotta be lucky, Bob. I was lucky tonight. Got the breaks.
Well, you were also very effective. There were only 2 balls really that were hit hard. The one shot that was hit to Max Alvis, and the other was hit to Whitfield.
Well, they don't have to be hit too hard to drop in there, though. I mean, a lot of times you jam somebody and break their bat and fall in there. You gotta be lucky. I just think I'm the luckiest guy in the world right now.
Well, you were also a great pitcher, and we're certainly happy to congratulate you, Sonny. Things have been going a little rough for you this year. You took a kind of a rough beating from California. Things were a little rough in Minnesota. But, boy, tonight you really came back with a job.
Yeah, Bob, I've been having a rough time. I think I know what was wrong. I think I corrected it. And I hope the rest of the season, I hope I'm just as effective as I can be. Help the ball club more.
Sonny, I know that every pitcher, when he's out there in a ball game, perhaps doesn't think about it realistically until it develops, but somewhere along the way he begins to think of a no-hitter. When, during the course of tonight's ball game, did you think you might have a chance at one?
First inning, Bob. Before I left home tonight, my wife, she's been getting on me because I've been getting hit pretty hard. And I told her, I said, get off my back. I said, I'll pitch a no-hitter for you.
Did you really?
I did. I was kidding. I come out here in the first 3 innings. I realized I had a no-hitter. I started thinking of what I said to my wife. And then from then on, I was afraid to look at the scoreboard. I just dog it all the way. Go out there and get hitter by hitter. And I just can't believe it.
Is this the first one you ever pitched?
Yes, it is, Bob.
In your entire career?
Yes.
Now, as we know, as the game went along, and as you told your wife you're going to pitch a no-hitter, as it got into, say, the 4th or 5th inning, you were aware of the fact that you hadn't given up a hit.
That's right, Bob. The game was so close that I didn't really worry about the no-hitter. I was worried about the win. And, I wasn't trying to throw somebody a curveball on 3-0 or something like that. I was trying to get them out. I was trying to win the ball game. And if I pitched a no-hitter, it was fine. But winning the ball game was most important to me.
Well, you not only won a ball game, but you reached right into baseball history. You know, the last no-hitter pitched, Sonny, I think in the major leagues, I think was pitched by Bob Feller back in 1951. And, boy, that's a long span of time in the American League especially, isn't it?
As I thought McDowell probably pitched one before now, but he will. I'm just surprised I was lucky enough to do it.
Now, how about on the bench? When you come in after pitching each inning, did you sit in the same spot every time?
Yes, I did, Bob. I did most of the same thing the whole game. But I wasn't too superstitious. I was thinking just trying to concentrate on getting the hitters out. Yeah. That's all I can say. It really wasn't...
Anybody from the fans, from the stands, holler no-hitter to you?
No, none of my teammates said anything. Even Joe, the catcher, didn't say anything. And I wasn't sure I had a no-hitter. Nobody said anything, but they were clapping me. They were giving me quite a hand when I went to bat, so I figure...
Something was going on,
right?
Huh? How many times, now when you normally look back, you must take a look back out there and see whether anybody, when you're looking back to just check around, getting ready to pitch, you must look at the scoreboard. Could you see those big zeros?
No, I don't look at the scoreboard.
Not at all?
No, I don't.
So you sure didn't look at it tonight, huh?
That's one of the things I don't do. I don't look at the scoreboard. I try to keep my mind the hitter and the catcher. And if I'm looking all around the ballpark, I usually got my head in the stands. I'm usually not concentrating like I want to.
Sonny, when you pitched in California, they said that one of the California coaches stole some of your pitches in the way you were handling it. I know when you pitched in Minnesota, you tried to correct it. And obviously tonight, your fastball was blazing, your slider looked like it was going, and your curveball was jumping.
I think I made an adjustment on my slider, and it resorts back to one thing. I don't like to say it because I think...
It's all right.
But
we don't want you to give away any secrets.
I know, I don't want anybody looking for it.
Sonny Siebert, we want to congratulate you. This is one of the greatest moments a young man can have in his lifetime. And I would have to think now, thinking back to the years when your dad talked to you perhaps about being an outfielder, aren't you glad now that you became a pitcher?
Well, yeah, I'm just glad to be in a big league, Bob.
We're sure proud of you. And you know, only 2 men got on against you. Dick Nen, who walked in the 5th, an error to charge the shortstop on Casanova's ball. And then when you came to that final out, did the tension start to grow a little bit when you knew that you had to get that?
Well, Bob, Blasting Game and Severine, those kind of hitters are the toughest for me. I figure, well, if I can get those 2 guys, I guess I deserve it because they're really tough. I mean, I'd rather see somebody like Frank Howard or somebody swinging real hard at the ball up there. I mean, in that situation, I knew they'd probably get some wood on the ball, and I wasn't too sure of myself. I just gave them everything I had.
Well, you sure did. Sonny Siebert, I know the reporters want to visit with you. We want to offer you our congratulations. It was a masterful job of pitching. Sonny Siebert with a no-hitter. Certainly a proud moment in your lifetime, and I hope there'll be a few more for you.
Thank you, Bob. My pleasure.
Sonny Siebert, and that's Baseball Tonight.